Earnestly podcast here. It's been a little while.
Yes,
Marc
it has.
Francois. It's been what we last potted what, January?
Is that
Maybe?
what it was?
Maybe a little
Maybe early February, something like that.
let me
I
check on that.
remember. I remember it was one of those random ones where some shit hit a variety of fans or something, and we went, "Oh, yep, we got to jump on there
Oh
again."
yeah, I always call you up for all these oh we gotta do a podcast. Anything happens with in terms of any major political news or some of that nature, I'm like, Mark, we gotta get together. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. It was actually December 15th.
It was which? What was that one?
December 15th.
Holy crap!
So this is post Georgia Senate runoff.
I think I even made a crack or something. We got to stop doing this every 6 months, and at least we beat the rec. At least we beat that.
Yeah, but you've been busy too, though. You've been very
Yeah,
busy. I've been busy.
well,
You've
few
been.
life changes.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we podcast last time, this is post Georgia Senate runoff. This is literally after the midterms, a month after the midterms. Um, Post Brittany Griner. This is post Donald Trump announcing running for president, a re-election again, should I say?
God,
Um,
exhausting to think about all.
last time we spoke, the New Orleans Pelicans were in second place in the Western Conference. um, Let me see. The Lakers
And there was
sucked.
hope for Zion's season, wasn't there?
Yeah, the Lakers sucked at its time.
Facts.
We were fully entrenched in the Major League Baseball offseason. So yeah,
Yeah. Well,
hey,
it was funny too because I was, when the season ended last year, at least with the Dodgers, it was like, I was like, holy crap, there's big departures here. What the hell is going to happen? And
yeah,
then, right about that time, a bunch of people started getting signed, and now it's, not without bumps, but not nearly as bad as I feared it could be. And but
right, yeah, true.
April still. I mean, we're a month in, so
It's only a month in. Only a
we'll
month
see at
in.
the All Star break.
But we just teased that
But dude,
you
what's the rookie's name? Ottman something? Outman. The one that just like keeps dropping bombs. He had like 7 or 8 home runs
mhm.
in April, and he was batting like 330 or something.
Okay,
Crazy. He had the like walk off grand, or not a walk off grand slam because it was a road game, but ninth inning grand slam against the Cubs the other night.
yeah. This is after the 13-0 debacle, right? You guys lost, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was exactly because we won the first one. We completely blew up the second one, and then
yeah,
got it back. The first one I think was the one with the grand slam. The
yeah,
second one was the just getting trounced, and then the third one was like 5-1 or something like that
yeah.
against the Cubs.
So
And
we
dude, the shirt. Okay, speaking of baseball, the Scherzer thing, I've seen like a couple explanations of on common Instagrammer dudes that talk about baseball shit, and it seems like he's gotten screwed. And the ump that did this has like he's responsible for the only 3 ejections or something for sticky stuff on pitchers. It's the same ump for all of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How did you? Like? Have you heard? Like, is there still shit swirling? I don't. It's funny. I
Well,
live in New York. I live in New York now, but I haven't watched like a minute of local news since I've been here. It's like work, eat, sleep, repeat.
Yeah, you look a little, not say worn, but you definitely look been doing a lot. Like I said, we just teased right now that you have a lot going on, and
Yeah.
you did announce on the last podcast you were planning on New York. You are
Yeah.
now coming to us live. Well, not live, but you know what I mean, from New York City, right?
Yes. Well. Yeah. The suburbs, but yes.
Yeah. How's
But
the how's the New York experience so far for you? What, a month in now? One month in?
yeah, about that. Yeah, I think it was like the beginning of. Okay, so I drove cross country, which took like a week and a half,
That was fun to
basically.
follow you. By the way, that was a lot of fun following you on your Instagram and see places. You got, dude. This is so bad because like when you were doing your trip, I don't even follow what's going on with me lately. Like I'm pushing diabetic now, so I'm trying to eat
Mhm.
healthy. I'm trying to eat very healthy
Oh,
these days.
okay.
So
Got
that
you.
so I'm sitting there trying to eat healthy, and you're sitting here posting these fucking like different restaurants in South Carolina, and like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, Mark,
Okay.
what are you doing to me right now, buddy?
So the trick there is when I do that shit, it's probably the only thing I'm going to eat that day, and it's going to take me 3 or 4 sittings to do it because literally from the time I crossed from like New Mexico into Texas, I swear to God the portions grew like another like 20% everywhere I went. I'm like, yeah, everything's bigger in Texas. No, they got bigger in Alabama and then bigger still in Tennessee. I'm like, damn, it's like, so I just picked if I wanted something for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and then that day, and then so I would pick one of those things and then eat that for 3 meals because
Yeah, dude.
the shit was massive.
Bro, but it was bad because I'm trying to eat better now. I'm eating cleaner these days. Somewhat, I've been sleeping a little bit lazy lately. Not terrible, but got to be better. But you're sitting there. I'm trying to be good and be good and strict about this. And here you are sitting there on Instagram, sharing what you're eating on each
Well,
different state.
okay,
Like, nah, I'm like,
I'm definitely not my fittest. I'm not my fattest, but I'm not my fittest. And
come
so,
on, man.
I've been bouncing around with hotels and Airbnbs and
Hmm.
stuff like that, trying to get settled and everything. So, once routines set in and gym memberships get arranged and shit like that, get it together and start cooking for myself. But no, I've been really bad lately, and I'm not mad about it at all.
I did see that on your Instagram that you say you're trying to get back in shape again. Like you posted a picture or
Oh, no,
something.
no, 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 no. That was okay. So that was a trainer friend of mine. It was a Throwback Thursday thing he did because I had trained with him in 2018, and then I
Okay,
recently,
okay,
and then what we talked about is, I know how to do the stuff, most of it, and then there's other little things that are obviously newer since I've worked with him. So it was like I had hit him up to get some workouts, and we're gonna start doing some virtuals when I get settled in. But no, that was a Throwback Thursday thing from when I had
oh,
worked out
okay,
with him in
okay,
San Diego
okay.
years ago.
I'm not saying I don't remember Mark
Yeah,
being
I don't
fat.
know. Yeah, because I don't I was well no I was I've definitely no I've definitely struggled and fluctuated with my weight a lot. I got to be a lot more careful about it than it might look from my Instagram.
Yeah,
Because but try to stay in shape as best I can, but don't.
yeah.
That was one of those once in a lifetime trips too. That I was like, if I ever get the chance to drive across America, I'm absolutely gonna do it. And the people I work with were like, take your time, have fun. The timing of everything that we were trying to accomplish there was really good. So I was like, shit.
So
Took like
did you
10
did you, did
days.
you enjoy it? You were by yourself, right?
Yeah, I did it. It was 100%. By myself. I just like packed up most of my crap, which I didn't have much of,
Yeah, remember you
and
telling us on the
yeah,
podcast.
threw it in a pod. Said bye to that thing. Put like a couple weeks worth of clothes in my car and bounced. It was just like that. And so I stopped in Phoenix, San Antonio, New Orleans, yeah, Alabama, up in northern Alabama and Muscle Shoals, that area. Like, yeah, dude, it was
Was it
awesome.
was it lonely for you? Or did you enjoy it?
No, it was funny because I picked that route on purpose because I was going to be able to see people I don't get to see enough anyway along the way.
Right.
So, like, I saw friends from the adult summer camp I went to. I saw one of my friends that I've been to Haiti with. It's a bunch of different things. And then one of my friends from LA happened to be in flying to New Orleans with some of their friends when I was just passing through town. So we were all able to meet up. So it was, yeah, the driving by myself was great because I only really did it like breakfast to dinner. I wasn't trying to like haul ass and drive 13 hours a day. I drove, I don't know, 6, 8 hours a day, stopped in cities I want to, saw shit I wanted to,
That's
ate shit.
awesome.
You know what I mean?
That's
I was
awesome.
able to completely take my time. Yeah. Cities where I really wanted to spend time, I got to spend a couple of days. So like, New Orleans and DC, places that, had some sentimental stuff and historical stuff and things I'd, always wanted to do. Like New Orleans was, top 5 bucket list city for me. And so I got to,
Ooh. How how how,
yeah,
how those red states treat you?
I don't like. I have manners. I'm not stupid. I know how to read a room. I'm not gonna.
I'm
I'm
just throwing
not
a pot
gonna
of
just
it.
walk down. I'm not just gonna walk down this. Well, and it was funny because people joked about that because I have a history of having a slightly heavy foot from time to time,
Yeah,
allegedly.
yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, are you're gonna love that?" And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. California plates once you leave like New Mexico. That's
Yeah.
like a bullseye on my back the whole way across the country. It's like 2 miles an hour over the speed limit tops.
Yeah.
But in a lot of places it's like 75, 80 anyway, so it's cool.
So you take what week and a half to get to where you need to go?
I think it was like 9 or 10 days or something. Because it was basically a night anywhere that I didn't have anything going on or see have anyone I was going to see, and then be able to bank some time for places I really wanted to spend time. and then it all, get to spend a few days in the city before I had to get to work. It was great. I
Yeah,
love this town. I
that's
do
awesome.
I do love living here. It's
You
awesome.
do. 'Cause
Mhm.
you're big. This is podcast for over 10 years now. You know that Mark's a big California guy.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
wondering how
living
the
living in
transition
New
is.
York is one of those like childhood dream things though too. It's like kind of another bucket list thing. I don't know if I'll live here the rest of my life. We'll see. Um,
Well,
but
I'm
I
curious.
definitely love it so
I'm
far.
curious. I'm
And it's
curious how you
yeah,
how,
come on.
I'm curious how you adjust it, how you adjust to like, the weather changes once it gets colder again.
It's funny. I lived in northern Canada.
That's
Like
right.
I know what
You
I'm getting
did. You
into.
did.
And then like I was talking to people. I was talking. I guess not like northern Canada. I guess it's technically like central
South.
Canada. Whatever.
Yeah.
It was up. It was up there, and it was cold.
That's
That's the point.
Canada. It's all cold. It's colder
Yeah,
across the board. I mean,
it was like 10 hours from Montana, 12 hours from Montana. It was far and it was cold.
it's
Uh,
cold and ice. Yeah.
but no, and I was even talking to friends out here before I got here, and they're like, Albany and places like that, Pennsylvania, sure, lots of snow. But I was like talking to friends in Jersey and in the city and stuff. Like, dude, we haven't even had real snow in 2 years. Like little flurries and dustings and stuff, but nothing that sticks to the
Yeah.
ground. One of the guys I work with was like, dude, I haven't taken my shovel out of the shed in 2 years.
So the adjustment hasn't been much for you.
No, no, not at all. It's great. You know,
Yeah.
I had some friends here before I got here.
I,
The work I'm doing is great. One of the big pluses of getting out here was getting to do more hands-on stuff with for HAC, the Haitian American Caucus.
aha, that's right.
So
Yes.
getting to go to events for that. For example, if you're going to be in New York this weekend in Prospect Park, there's going to be a tree planting event for Arbor Day. So Haitian
Mm-hmm.
American Caucus is going to be taking part in that. So if you're in Brooklyn, come out to Prospect Park, family-friendly event. See you there.
It's good to know you're still involved in that, even with all the changes and
Yeah,
everything.
no, it's awesome because being here, get to actually do a whole lot more for it. So
Yeah.
I got to attend the NAN conference, the National Action Network conference, like a week or two ago.
That's the Al Sharpton thing, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think it was the 30th or 32nd anniversary, something like that. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really cool event. Saw some amazing speakers. A lot of impacted families spoke. That was kind of the headline of the event on the first day, on Wednesday.
Aha.
A bunch of different impacted families from around the country, like the Floyd family, Devontae Clark,
Uh,
Stephon Clark's brother. You know, it was actually, I think, the day after the Tyree Nichols bill passed in Memphis that put an
yeah.
end to like their Scorpion and SWAT units. So that was really powerful, and then get to hear kind of from the horse's mouth from cabinet members, members of Congress. It was really really cool. It was a special event, and see civil rights icons and celebrities from the culture. It was really cool, and get to see other people that are doing the work for where like HAC is.
Right. That's awesome. All right, we got
Yeah,
a lot to talk about. So what
yeah, we
triggered
do.
this moment in this
Yeah, I'm
podcast.
literally pulling up my rundown right now as like I look
Yeah.
away.
So we had a lot of shakeup with media. We had a lot of shakeup with media yesterday. A lot of
Yeah,
shakeup, and we do talk media time and time in this podcast, whether it's sports media or political or whatever it may be.
we're just
Tucker
nerds.
Carlson has parted ways with Fox News. Let's
Yeah,
start there.
I mean, I haven't like gone down the rabbit hole of why. I'm not sad to see him go, but I'm also not unreal
So
or not.
you are aware of the Dominion lawsuit that got settled last week?
Oh yeah, no, Dominion was what 787. That
787. Yeah.
was the settlement for Fox. But and the shit there was that they don't have to apologize or acknowledge. So it's like yeah, they paid the check, but like their viewers are never gonna know really anything about it because. But it seems like it tees them up for the what's the Smartmatic one that they're seeking like 2.6 billion.
And
So the settle
they're not interested in selling, from what we hear.
yeah, that's well, I guess was it like the Fox slander, I guess by now it's kind of safe to say, is was like tanked the company pretty much entirely, or at least the American part of it, and then what
Okay.
Smartmatic, I guess, is doing better or something.
Yeah, I don't know details on that one though. But
Okay. No,
I do know that.
I'm
Yeah.
repeating what I literally heard on another podcast like a
Well,
week
right. No,
ago.
no, no.
So
That's
a
fine.
trustworthy one.
No, but from what I'm hearing, they're playing a long game. They're not looking to settle. At least right now. I mean, things are changing down
Yeah.
the road. But
I mean,
Good.
the interest of the health of the democracy and everything, they should have to acknowledge on their air exactly what they did, the lies that they perpetuated. That those should be conditions of even a settlement. I
And
think. I don't know.
that were
I that's
provable.
that's what I want to see. Like when you talk about like the Aaron Sorkin of it all, like for what it should be.
Um, like I don't look. I don't know who loses here. Carlson losing his job at Fox, or Fox himself, because I think Tucker Carlson will be fine. I think he's in a place now where he's bigger. He's bigger
I
than the name
I
itself.
the fragments of and the tendencies of the far right and Fox News viewers. I Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. Like, are people really that riled up and they're going to follow him wherever he goes? I imagine somebody is about to pay him a shit ton of money, from some network. Whether it's to do something with what is his online site, like Daily Caller or
Yeah,
something.
he
So
he does own that. He could double down on that. He can do his own thing. I mean, his name's big enough now to where he can do that.
yeah, there I saw. I don't know how reliable it was, but one of the things I saw on Instagram when I was doom scrolling was that apparently some Russian state media
Yeah,
extended an offer to
RT,
him. Oh,
RT,
okay.
RT, RT. Yeah,
RT did. Okay.
yes, yeah. I saw that. RT did. I know. Daily Wire reached out to him. I know.
Yeah. I
I
figured
think
Newsmax,
Newsmax also.
OAN, all
Yeah,
of them.
the usual cast of characters on that side of the aisle. But Tucker
Hmm.
Carlson is so big at this point now, where he became bigger than the network anyway. So
I
like,
mean, yeah. I guess
I'm gonna hate him. It's what it is. What
it
it
depends.
is.
It depends on what you want and what you're trying to achieve. It's like, I mean, their text messages kind of say everything. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
They know they're lying to the American people and they're doing it to make money because a certain group of people will buy it hook, line, and sinker, and then they will buy the products of their advertisers, and everybody gets rich. And nobody gives a shit what it does to the health of our democracy or the, you know, acceptance or grip on reality of their viewers. They're just going to extract every dollar and ounce from them they can, do whatever they have to do to keep them tuned in. Tell them whatever they want to hear to keep them tuned in.
it's a
I
capitalist
mean, you
way,
could see
man.
it. It's how it manifests. Is it manifests in, for example, the shooting of like Ralph Yarl.
Yeah,
Scared old man, Fox News viewer, your right wing media consumer sees a black teenager at his door and shoots without warning or saying anything, and you can't disconnect the boogeyman shit that these people put out, and then these folks consume it for hours a day and
yeah.
wonder and then go, oh my, can't be the guns, can't be the propaganda. No, it isn't that.
No,
Mental health. Oh, but we're not funding that.
no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you on that one. Um, but I think he'll be fine. I think whatever he does, he'll be fine. You'll land on his feet.
Yeah,
I am.
he's,
I think
he's
Fox. I
gonna
think
continue. He's gonna continue to make a lot of money unless he ends up in jail.
right, and I think Fox will be fine too. Also, because look, Fox lost Bill O'Reilly 2017. They filled that spot with Tucker before Bill O'Reilly was somebody else. It was Glenn Beck, and
As
they
long
filled that
as
spot up.
as long as they find people who look and sound the right way and tell the audience what they want to hear. Because I mean, look, again, right there in their text messages, there was one of the things I heard on one of the like really gritty, granular, nerdy political podcasts I listened to
Which
was
one is that?
explaining. It was just buy less coffee with the guy Troy. I can't think of his last name, but
Oh,
his
okay.
thing is keep Troy Blue. And then I think, oh God, okay, I don't know how I'm remembering this, but like my audio memory is just like that.
Yeah.
The woman, his co-host is Kathy Cannon at Cannon Fodder,
Okay.
and then their like producer assistant Irene, and the show's really funny. It's really straight to the point. Kathy's a teacher, and I think Troy was a teacher.
Yeah.
Um, and they break down political shit. Like they do stuff one day that's kind of like all the headlines, and then the other day is like a deep dive into some topic that is maybe historical but has context. Anyway, they were talking about the text messages, and it was that basically there was an instance where I don't know, it was either I think it was acknowledging the call and calling it for Biden. Tucker Carlson cited that to a group chat with like all the all the right wing Avengers to their group
Right wing
chat or
Avengers.
you know,
Is that what
all
you
of them.
called it, or that they called it? That was good.
No, that's just what I'm not going to sit here and try to remember all their names, so I'm just labeling them
No,
writ large.
I like that. That's actually really.
No, but
That's
anyway, it
great.
was like in the group chat, Tucker Carlson cited how, well, when you called it accurately, but they didn't like it, they switched the channel to OAN and Newsmax like that.
Yeah.
And then he was reminding them that and suggesting they don't do that anymore. So literally saying, give them, give them the facts they want, or they're going to go somewhere else, and that person might eat into our market cap, and we make X this much less money.
Quick sidebar though. You mentioned political podcasts. What shows are you into these days?
I have had very little time for shows
Right.
in general.
Well, right, but in general, like what are the
I
general?
just finished Mandalorian, and I don't understand
No,
what
no,
all
no,
the
no, no,
hate.
no, 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 not TV shows, political shows, political podcasts. I'm going to say. Sorry about that.
Uh, oh, podcast. Okay, sorry. I thought you were asking me like
That's
what I
my
was
bad.
watching.
Yeah. No, that's all right.
I thought we were changing. I thought we were changing directions in my
No, no, no,
ADD.
not too
Ooh,
soon for that.
TV.
No, too soon for that stuff. Man, we gotta get to the nitty gritty of what we're
Okay,
talking about.
so the big ones I listen to are Higher Learning with Van Lathan
Yeah, I
and
like
Rick
that show a
Grant
lot.
Lindsay. That's a great one.
And I credit you for that. For get me to listen to it all the time now.
Dude, it's great. It's an amazing pod. Behind the Bastards. That's probably the one I
Yeah, that's the
listen
one.
to the
Another one
most.
you told me. Yeah,
With Robert Evans.
yeah.
Hood Politics with Prop.
Okay,
Then I have like some true crime ones that are gnarly.
okay,
Um,
okay.
and yeah, those are the big ones.
Because I've kind of come out of the partisan thing now. I'm listening to more like Breaking Points, and then like with Crystal and Sagar, and then I'm the Rising with with Robbie
Yeah.
and Brianna.
Anything I listen to news related, I got tired of even, even as I became kind of more left in my leanings. I kind of got tired of stuff like, some of the more mainstream liberal podcasts and
Yeah,
stuff, those kinds of things.
yeah, I'm with you on that.
And I started moving towards, because those felt more entertainment based, more message driven, more kind of tied to politicians sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and certain like big media.
Yeah,
And so I was like, so I got more into these tiny little shops and shows on Spotify that are, it's professors, journalists, lawyers talking about
it's
pretty much
real,
just
and
the historical facts.
there's real conversations having on those shows too. Also,
Yeah,
that's why.
it's like it's acknowledging what's being said and done on the right, and talking about what the viewpoint is on the left, but really diving into the historical context and the facts of what's happening in. It's really, so the adage in the newsroom of like what they were trying to do is like, we can't make Americans eat their vegetables. This is like the eating your vegetables of
That's
political
a good
pods.
point.
You know what I mean?
That's a good
You're
point.
not going there to get like rah shit one way or the other. Like, you're just gonna get what's happening, and it's probably gonna put a lot of people to sleep. No, I'm kidding. These shows are incredibly entertaining, but it's definitely for a person who wants a certain kind of knowledge.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
It,
Yeah, even like cause there are like some conservative like leaning shows I'll listen to. That are I consider good faith shows. There's
mm-hmm.
and there's certain liberal ones I listen to also. But overall, I think Breaking Points is perfect because it's a conservative, it's a liberal, and they have good discussions about things, and they very critical
Yeah.
of both sides and all that. Same with Rising and all that. But yeah, that's where I'm at these days with political podcasts. Cause I mean, I don't mind the Pod Save guys, but they can get a little bit too
You said it, not me. I didn't mention it.
What, are you off that wagon too?
No, yeah, it's not like an intentional thing. I got really. It's more that my time is limited. My time
Yeah,
is even more limited now. It's not like I don't like it. I do actually very much, and I love love it to leave it every once in a while, because I
he's
love.
funny as hell though.
He's fucking hilarious. John's
Yeah,
great, but for the news, law, historical context, I want something that is definitely incorporating a lot more black and brown perspectives
Yeah.
and trying to look at the world through the scope of, sort of the truth of what's happened to, the global majority.
I love how people think
So
like talking about black matters is somehow a liberal talking point, which is complete bullshit.
it's not about that. It's like no matter how you slice it, no matter how badly you don't want to look at it, like white supremacy and capitalism and stuff work in concert, and the United States is leaning as a country very far to the right. In
You think so?
Europe, yeah, absolutely. In Europe, our most quote unquote like extreme left politicians would be right in the middle in like the EU and in British Parliament, stuff like that. America is being pulled to the right because the right wing and the moneyed interests kind of go hand in hand for the most part. I mean, they all do. That's not, I'm not pretending like all politicians aren't, like politics aren't completely co-opted by moneyed interests, but it's just like the country. I think that our national discussion keeps getting pulled further and further right because in a lot of ways our systems don't punish white supremacy.
Well, we'll get
So
to
like they
yeah.
act up more, they corrupt more, they and the left wing, is so co-opted that they're not really trying very hard to stop it
They just
because
want
they're all
status.
on.
They just want status
It's
quo.
like
Status
you
quo.
really need to stop that. I'm
Like
telling you.
they
Come on, history.
right. They care.
But like
For example, they care about abortion rights, but they do, but they don't. Like
they don't
do
act.
they do this enough just to
Yeah,
prevent the
there hasn't.
entire backlash, but not enough to
No,
push real change. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
it's at and there's a lot of individual politicians. Whether obviously it's very important to the work HAC does to work with a lot of really wonderful politicians and
Yeah.
assemblymen, state senator. The work that HAC does with with elected leaders is second to none. But in the collective, it's the laws just aren't getting passed. Like the results aren't there, and that doesn't mean that we aren't all in agreement about what it should be or shouldn't be. That there aren't people speaking to those things in the legislatures and in Congress, but the proof is in the pudding, and the bowl is empty.
Yeah.
Because all these bills that could bring about improvements in housing, healthcare, food security, education, all of it, they stagnate in Congress and they stagnate in state houses and they die in Republican legislatures in red states. And when you look at the life expectancy of Americans and the concentration of, for example, Black and Brown Americans in some of those states, it's markedly less than in other states. And that's not about politics or anything. It's about allocation of resources and some of these, individual corruptions and injustices that overwhelmingly impact Black and brown people at higher rates. Like it's where it's happening. But I mean, it's everywhere, but it's like much more punctuated in a lot of those places.
No, of course, no, I'm with you on that one. The other
the bills just aren't getting passed, signed, and enforced. The money's not getting spent on it.
The other big media mogul that got the axe yesterday was Mr. Don Lemon.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming at all. But
you didn't?
I mean, I honestly don't. I don't ever really watch Don Lemon except when there's some viral moment where he gathers someone or gets in trouble. So I don't really follow him. You know what I mean?
I don't follow him. It comes to my face.
I'll see a reel of him, like embarrassing somebody who's being a fucking ass on the show.
Yeah.
And I'll laugh and then I'll double tap and move on and not really ever think about it again, because if I'm watching news at that time for some reason on TV, I'm going to be watching probably another channel.
So let me ask you this. I mean,
but I haven't. I actually haven't. I don't think I've watched TV
before I dive in my opinion on Don Lemon, which I have done it in the past, though. What's your opinion on Don Lemon? Were you a fan of his or? Eh?
I think I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. I think I've seen really funny videos or poignant moments, on TV, but I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know why people would have reason to dislike. So I'm not really going to make a comment one way or the other.
He's just too. I don't know. It's just. And all those things you hear about him being, a misogynist, and it's a lot of
Mm.
receipts that too, also especially as well.
Okay. Okay.
But
It's one of
not
those things that, like, if I'm scrolling, he doesn't enter my timeline.
right, not me either.
You know,
But
you know what I mean.
because
And if I'm watching TV, I'm not watching CNN, so it never really enters.
likewise, like I always tell everybody, I only watch CNN during the election season because they have the best coverage. That's it. But outside of that, in terms of actual normal news, I don't watch CNN. I don't at all. But he got demoted to the morning show, and
Uh-huh.
then he's not getting
Oh,
along
I
with his
mean, it's
co-host and something too also. And
isn't. I mean, the CEO changed, right? And then
yeah, he changed
apparently
like about a year or two ago. Yeah,
he wants to, like, he's kind of tired of the old adage about, like, CNN being a liberal mouthpiece or something, and he wants to, like, make it more even-handed, basically pull it a little more to the right.
basically the
So
way it used to be prior to I would say even before Obama.
yeah,
Like basically,
I mean, all news was pretty conservative in the '90s.
yeah, I would say
When
so.
you really think of
Bernard Shaw and those guys.
yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, like, leftists and whatnot have never really had a major media mouthpiece, because people who are that far left tend not to be capitalists,
I
and they
think people don't understand.
get buried by those who are.
I think casual people, they like to say the word leftist and liberal and have no clue what the fuck it means.
Hmm.
Honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
like
They
they
don't
call
do.
people
They
leftists.
don't just.
They call people leftists, but then call them elite.
It's like
No,
a huge.
they're not the
That's
same
a,
thing. You can't
no,
have both ways.
it's a huge. It's a hugely broad and varying group of people with a wide range of beliefs that, it's not all one thing. It's not monolithic.
Right.
There's anarchists and communists and socialists. So am I. They are all different. They're similar but different.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
read a book, listen to a podcast, however you like to learn. The information is readily available.
Yeah. But the Donovan thing's not that was surprising because of the lead up to this. It was surprising it happened literally within 2 hours of the Tucker Carlson firing. Tucker was a lot more shocking, obviously, because of given how.
I mean, was it though? Because
Yeah,
in a
no,
lot of ways,
it's still shocking.
they
He's
had no. It's one of those. I think No, I don't. I don't really think it's all that shocking, because somebody had to go, and he was the one that was undoubtedly gonna do the best leaving. So he probably went, "Fuck it, I'll go."
yeah, but I mean, you're losing that. He has the
Or,
biggest show on
or
cable news.
what? Yeah, but somebody has to go. There was no way,
This is
or they
true.
were
This is
all,
true.
it's easy. Well, I think too, personally, it's like, you can't can Laura Ingraham. It's like, you can't, like, any of them. It's kind of, it just, I don't know. It seemed kind of obvious when it got settled that, like, somebody had to go, and Tucker Carlson is the most repugnant and the furthest thing from actual news. So
And probably easiest cost cutting too. Also in the future,
it's a PR layup. You know what I mean? Broadly.
I think what you're seeing too, also in cable news, and you saw with ESPN some degree, years ago, they're cutting down on the personalities. At least they're starting to cut on the personalities
Well,
now and make it
haven't
more
there
about the
been
news.
like haven't there been, like, lawsuits in federal court and shit, where they have had to acknowledge that certain shows like Tucker Carlson's are entertainment and not news, despite being
Lawsuits.
on
The
these Fox News.
entire Fox News brand is an entertainment thing. It's judgment in writing. They're not a
Okay.
news
No,
organization.
I can't recall the details. I
Right.
know that was
Yeah.
I know that was the gist. So okay, so there
Yeah. Oh,
was
God,
like
yeah.
a federal
Years
ruling.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Years
like
ago.
no, it was like 2013 or 14, something
Yeah.
like that, right?
Yeah. 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 They are
Yeah.
a entertainment organization.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
But I mean, that doesn't mean anything unless you care about unless you care
But
about that.
again, the average listener to Fox News
They're never
don't give
gonna
a
hear that
shit.
stuff.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Feed the beast. Feed me. Feed me what I want to hear. That's why I don't watch. That's why I
People
don't watch
don't
anything.
choose the news they want; they choose the facts they want.
Yeah, that's the problem. But my thing on the lemon, I am not a fan. Can't stand the guy. Good riddance.
Okay.
Honestly, I was ready for
Okay.
that on social media. I just think he's very divisive. Even if he
Mm.
look, he's not Tucker Carlson bad. Let's say that Tucker Carlson
Well,
literally
who is?
did things that
I
exactly,
mean,
but
Alex Jones, Andrew Tate. I mean, that's
exactly. But Don Lemon to me, Yeah,
that's the power ranking he's on.
yeah, but Don Lemon to me was just annoying as shit, and he just he was a he was a he ended up being a really bad mouthpiece for us for the left. Not only the leftist, but I'm saying for people that's on at some point, like he was just too divisive and nah.
No, he's an outright threat. I mean, he literally like on a regular basis, including he does a lot of stuff that's just nonsense fear mongering, which is laughable
Right,
and makes great fodder for shows like John Oliver and others.
right.
But he also perpetuates incredibly dangerous ideology and platforms really dangerous people who exact white supremacist violence against trans people, against black and brown
Someone Tucker
people.
Carlson, someone Tucker, yes,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've literally been there at the result of him doing it.
yeah.
You know.
No.
It's
There's no
no.
comparison, of course.
I no. I know all of this,
Right.
but I just it's to make an emphatic point that no, this guy has done really dangerous shit that has torn at the fabric of representative democracy in this country,
Hmm.
and has markedly set us back because it is the number one show in America, and he's not only is he spoon feeding nonsense that is gimme what I want to hear, but there's also really, really dangerous, white supremacist, transphobic, misogynist crap that he platforms, and really dangerous people that he platforms, and he doesn't seem to get held accountable for it, and that has to be acknowledged as well, because I
Yeah.
mean he is bad for democracy.
Oh, I agree, 100%, 100%. I've been following the. I mean, they say it's a race, the GOP race for president. It's not really. Look, you see the numbers out there. Trump, DeSantis. By the way, DeSantis has not officially decided to run yet. But it looks like Trump. It looks like right now the numbers show you that Trump is running away with it right now.
Both scare me. Both, I'm so done. I'm so done.
I will say though,
I hate
Mark,
them all.
now
No,
real quick, and I'll let you talk about a second. From the perspective of solely campaigning, though, Trump is campaigning very smart this time, though, in some ways.
Well, I mean, Trump's good at TV and DeSantis isn't. That's really what it is. Trump's been a TV guy for 30-ish years, 40-ish years. He's wanted nothing more than to be in front of the camera, be about celebrities. I think hell, that was a condition of if you wanted to film at the Plaza Hotel in New York, you had to let him cameo in the movie. That's why he's in Home Alone 2.
No, of course. I'm just saying though, like
no, I just mean, but like he's good at this, and
no, like I said, we know he doesn't really care in the end, but
yeah,
his stand, his stance on abortion, for example, he's actually taking a more moderate stance on abortion in comparison to the other option.
He doesn't care when.
No. I agree with you, but what I'm saying though, he's playing smart here. He's playing smart to the moderates. Like,
well, yeah.
DeSantis wants a 6-week ban in Florida now, which he got assigned through last week. Okay,
he's narrow-minded and he's good at administrating the playbook. Donald Trump doesn't know how to administrate the playbook because he doesn't go to work. He just watches TV all day.
Exactly.
But the minute the cameras come on for the purpose that he's trying to serve, he's really good at that. For the people he's trying to entertain and enrage, he's really good at that. So he gets easy wins on DeSantis because DeSantis kind of like he toes the line and he actually believes it and really wants to put it into law. And I kind of think wants to see trans kids in concentration camps. So, and the scary part about a guy like him is that he could do it because he's better at the administrative shit. So, I don't know. I'm not going to say I hope. I don't know. No, I'm not hoping for one or the other. They're both terrible. No, they're both terrible. I don't like that Joe Biden's in the race. He's 80 years old.
We're getting there in a second.
Yeah, I don't like any of it. I don't like anything about the presidential election. Ugh.
No,
I hate it here.
But he's not my wife.
No, it's just it's frustrating. There's nobody that excites or makes you go, God, I wish they could break through. Or that is you're just looking around, you're like, is that right, left? So nobody.
It's like 2020 all over again. There's enthusiasm on two fronts. There's enthusiasm for Trump and enthusiasm against Trump. There's no Joe Biden enthusiasm. Come on now. No one's enthusiastic about Joe Biden running for president. It's like,
No, it's like
I don't hate the
it's
guy,
like,
but
look, you guys, I know I said this 4 years ago, but Jesus Christ, he can't be president again. His vice. Well, and the other thing is like, whoever Trump has as a vice president is going to be somebody really scary, and God
Carrie
forbid.
Lake. Carrie Lake.
I don't know. I would think maybe the big dollar, like the media advising team and the political strategists of a presidential campaign could at least keep some of the very worst, like, neo-fascist idiots out of off the ticket. But you never know. And yeah, God forbid somebody like fucking Lauren Boebert ends up on the
Oh no,
ticket.
she no way in hell she's gonna. No, she's
I
way too
know.
divisive.
That was like just the worst person I could think of for
MTG.
least qualified and terrible person I could think of.
Did you see Biden's
like, isn't Trump? I mean, obviously Biden's 80 right now, but
he's
like
80 right
Trump's
now.
what? Trump's what? 77.
77. Not much better.
Shit. Can all of the geriatrics in Congress please just retire? What happened to retire?
At least Trump, from an optics point of view, is sharper than Biden. You have to give him that. Come on, Mal.
Stop.
And in terms of like talking, he can complete a fucking sentence.
Joe Biden has a literal speech impediment that he's had in his
entire
that. Life. So yes, obviously he's slow, but when like he's every older person slows down. I mean, like my dad was markedly, noticeably slowing down from the time he was 60.
Right.
That's universal. But
yeah,
like a lot of that is the fact that like he stutters and he says the wrong word all the time because he has a speech impediment.
That doesn't bother me at all. To be honest with you. That doesn't bother me at all. That whole shit doesn't bother me at all. If he's passing legislation I agree with, I'm okay.
I don't really. It's like I don't like what the administration is doing, so I don't like him. But the problem with a person like Trump is the floodgate he opened at the very least.
And you're seeing it already. But you've seen already too, also, Mark. Like this is Joe Biden's only chance at re-election is saying, "Well, yeah, I may not be sharp and all, but I'm not that guy."
It's okay. When I can't help with. I don't really give a shit about either one because I don't like either one. I don't agree with either one. But what I do look at in the election, for example, in 2024, is who's likely on the ticket. In this case, it's Vice President Harris. I have a whole lot more faith in her. I have plenty of disagreements with her policy positions and her decisions, but her or somebody like, the probability of an 80-year-old president surviving their entire term has got to be fairly low. I know life expectancies are better in the healthcare.
At the very least, in Biden's case, 50-50 right now, right?
I don't want to handicap it. That feels terrible. That feels wrong. But
it just feels a little wrong, yeah. 6 years ago.
Yeah, I can't do that one. That just feels that's like morbid and icky.
It does.
Like no. I don't want that. I don't want that on my. I don't want that karma.
No, did you see his video, his announcement video?
No. I was working till like 6:30 tonight.
It dropped this morning.
I came straight home. I ate. I was like, no. I'm not. I don't.
This is what I don't understand about that. Like, you have the bully bullpen. You are the president of the United States, leader of free world. You can do a rally. You decide to do a fucking Twitter video. I don't get that.
I don't even know anymore. I mean, I guess it's kind of fitting of an old person to like, be a step behind on social media strategy. But like, obviously, the White House press secretary is an incredible Haitian woman. Karine Jean-Pierre, but I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a mess.
I mean, no one's enthusiastic. My thing is,
it's just like fine. Okay,
so Mark,
I'll go. I'll do this again.
Mark, it kind of feels like 2016-ish in a sense, where turnout will be the deciding factor. The only difference now is that we've
I mean, the
been
last one
through
was
it.
basically that too, but just it felt more extreme because of COVID and the uprising in the wake
Well,
of like
the difference is that we've actually tasted and felt a Trump presidency. We're already in the middle of a Biden presidency. So,
well,
so,
and
so we're going based on things we actually do know. So we're going to vote based on two guys that actually have had
yeah,
that
but I
role.
don't. I it's to me there are some really really dangerous people on the right wing
Yeah, of
who
course.
want to make some really dangerous laws in
Yeah, I
Congress,
agree.
and they're
Yes,
this close to getting in,
I'm
and
not. I'm not.
they've already gotten the courts. That's honestly the thing about a Trump presidency versus a Biden presidency that worries me the most is when I look to the Supreme Court and I see who Donald Trump appointed in Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett,
Yeah,
and Brett Kavanaugh.
yeah.
They have been disastrous. They have perpetuated. They have presided over um, some awful decisions that have set us back in a serious way and run against truthfully the will of the nation. Like more people than don't want Roe to be the law of the land, and they shot the shit out of that because they're getting paid and they're extremists and like
Clarence Thomas.
fuck them
Whew.
for that. Like seriously, fuck them for that. It's
Yeah.
and so basically for that alone, and when you look at the appointment of a justice like Ketanji Brown Jackson, so when I look to the vice president's office and who's on the ticket, and I look at the Supreme Court appointments of each president and what those appointments could potentially mean for the future of our country and people's access to civil rights and voting rights and reproductive rights, all of these things, protections for children from Christo-fascist nut jobs and guns, like you know Citizens United.
Mhm. Let me be clear. I'm not making a case for the other guy.
No, no, no,
You
no,
know
no.
what?
I'm
Because
just
you know, I already know what I'm going to do. You already know what I'm going to do for 2024 if it deems a rematch.
no, but so like when I look at the totality of that, like so when I look at who's gonna be on the ticket, who's been appointed to the courts, what that means for us long term, what it means to the likelihood of judicial appointments no longer being a lifetime thing on the Supreme Court, and all kinds of things that I would hope
Yeah.
for that I think could make our country better. But yeah, for that alone, I mean I would have to vote for Biden, but
Yeah, I know.
I don't feel good about it
No,
regardless.
but you understand the inherent risk
I
of
want, Dianne Feinstein's guilty of this. Chuck Grassley is what, like, going to be 93 or something
they
by
gotta
the
get out of
time
there.
his next term is up.
Fine's gotta go. She's
Like,
gotta go, dude.
why in the 80, these 80-year-olds and stuff in Congress, and even probably some of the 70-year-olds, I don't want to be ageist, but like, these people just retire. You're doing it for the money or some like misplaced sense of power, prestige, or whatever. But like, for instance, Dianne Feinstein sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and she's missing a ton of key critical
Yes,
votes on
ridiculous.
things like judicial appointments that could help protect and preserve our rights. So everyone's guilty of it. I think the bigger problem we have in the legislature, at least in the Senate and the House, is the number of octogenarians that are collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
You know,
100%.
irrespective of party.
Here's what I don't get real quick. This is the last political thing before we get to some basketball.
Yeah.
In the case of Ron DeSantis, and in the case also the abortion argument, I don't understand the play here for him. If you know that even on the Republican side, that most of your party agrees at the very least with a moderate
He's a true
abortion,
believer.
right?
He's
But
a true believer that's done really well in a state full of true believers.
no,
In
my thing is
in the
though,
like in the like the what's her Phyllis Schlafly of it all. It's
yeah,
it's that, and he really in the core of who he is
it's
believes
but
all that
but
bullshit,
right, Mark. But from a
and he's
political
getting paid.
Mark, right? But from a political perspective, though, real quick, it's a losing issue. It's why the Republicans did not have the red wave last year. Okay,
Oh,
it's
I'm not arguing that. I think
so
that
why is he
if
so,
he gets through, if he gets the nomination, I think he'll get pretty easily beaten on almost that issue alone.
that's the thing. So why would you double down on that?
I don't know.
Politically
Maybe
speaking,
maybe I like I said. I think he's a true believer. He thinks he can perpetuate that message, and he's getting paid. I think like the much he really, really believes it in the core of who he is. A lot of this crap about how the world should be and who should be in control and who should benefit from the economy and who shouldn't. You
Right.
know,
It makes no sense to me though.
really it's just about control, and I think he's just more. I think he's a true believer in a bellwether, and it doesn't really make sense right now because America has not continued to slip that far down and democracy break down and the
But
moderate middle get
it's a
completely eliminated.
right, but it's a losing issue for them.
Well, of course it is.
So
Of
why are you
course it
still
is.
why so if you believe it,
Because no,
say
because
the wrong thing.
like
I don't know.
okay, this is what I'm trying to say though. It's literally like Weimar Germany. Nazis seemed crazy in 1922 to a lot of the middle and a lot of the moderates and a lot of even the right wing. They're like, what Hitler says about the Jews, I don't really care, but the socialists, I work them. You know, that's how it happens. It's really slow and granular. So yet now in 2023, does it feel outlandish and like a losing issue? Of course it does, because it's not what anyone wants. But if a bunch of people like him continue getting elected to lower offices who actually can change laws, I don't give a fuck if Ron DeSantis wins the presidency or not, because not that much is really going to happen. But it's like the doors it opens, what it signals, who else like him, because it's like so goes the presidency. A lot of the stuff will go for the midterms itself. So yeah, he'll probably lose the election, but he kicks in the door and normalizes a lot of really terrible shit that
Mhm.
people will use to run on in lower office, like city councils and school districts, where real government happens, because it normalizes a lot of really hateful shit.
Do you think Trump was nomination? No,
Probably.
probably.
He's got way more money, and isn't the polling higher by like 15 points or something the last time
Yeah,
I heard?
he's
Okay.
pulling away.
Oh, he's still pulling away? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll probably win the nomination because he's better at TV. Ron DeSantis will, continue to be a true believer and lose, but he will also along the way on the campaign trail make a shit ton of money. I mean, he will lose, but he will still make a shit ton of money,
Yeah.
and he will perpetuate a whole, and of I'm trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Profess support for laws, bills, other politicians who have a really hateful vision, what I would call a neo-fascist vision of America. They want, a lot of these people want trans kids, you know, their parents getting locked up. They don't want gender-affirming care, which is asinine, because when suicide is one of the leading causes of children in America, and especially when you allow for LGBTQ plus children in that group, it's astonishing. And one of the best ways to interrupt childhood suicide is to provide gender affirming health care. And you have people like Ron DeSantis and Governor Abbott in Texas who want to not only disallow children to have the gender affirming care that could very well save their life.
Hmm.
They profess a bunch of nonsense about what it means to be trans and like what trans people do and how they live their lives, and they say a lot of hateful shit that it has nothing to do with reality, and don't really take the time to empathize or learn what it is, what it means to, that these people experience in their lives. And they just run on this shit because there's a bunch of people that they think they can get to vote for them, and they want power. Like I said, there are ones that actually want, I believe, these kids in camps or parents in jail, what have you. That's
Yeah.
how it starts. It's like just, it was in Germany. It was little by little. It was very gradual. It happened over what 15 years, from
Hmm.
the early 20s until 1941. It was very, very gradual, and as the Jews and political opponents and Romani people and queers and everyone else got rounded up, it was little by little. They got put in prisons first, and then they didn't know what to do with them, so they're like, well, we must shoot them. you know
Holy
it's
voices, dude. The best.
but that's how it starts. It's very tiny. So when you're at the beginning of one of those cycles, or say in that's a more apt way to put it for America is like a fork in the road in history. It's like we've been at these tipping points in American history, a half a dozen or so times. You and I've talked about this before.
Right.
And it's like whether or not America, every time, at least to this point, America has kind of pulled itself back from the brink, with the exception of the Civil War. Since then, at least,
Yeah.
we've had, several of these moments. Some are better known than others, but this is, I feel like, one of those moments. And so it's like if you keep going, fuck, Joe Biden still, but open the door to some really scary people, or people who profess and will profit off of really scary ideology. Don't say I didn't warn you in 12 to 15 years.
Yeah. Just keep pushing and pulling and pulling and pulling, and little by little.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
really gradual,
All right.
cranking a very big wheel very slowly.
I give Republicans this. They play a long game very well. The Roe v. Wade thing was a long game.
They're
They
so
waited
much
and
they're
waited and
so much
waited and
better.
waited.
No, they just, it's, God, we've talked about this, and I know I've said it on the show
Many times.
a dozen times, but it's the old line from the opening of the newsroom where Will McAvoy looks over at the person who represents the left wing. I mean, he's going left, right, sideways, diagonal, and everybody in his tirade in that pilot.
Right.
But he's like, if liberals are so fucking smart, why do they lose so goddamn always?
Yeah.
Yeah. Republicans are just better at the hardball than they are. They're
absolutely
they're better at getting their people to turn out, and then on top of that, the people that they elect do a lot more gerrymandering than the other side. Because I'm not talking about millionaires and or quasi billionaires who are in the Senate and the House. I'm talking about the people, because it's like it trickles down, and it's like when you have people on national elections supporting and professing laws that open the door to really scary shit,
right,
and voter suppress and gerrymander. It normalizes it when the dude who's running for school district or city council or county supervisor or local mayor, that's when it starts getting scary. Because then when a crazy person who's good at TV, so it's like, Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump are kind of like two halves of a really scary whole.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't get it. If somebody out there in the Republican landscape figures out how to put those two things together, we have the fuel, people. Like, that's what it means.
Yeah. All right.
So it's like, this is a tipping point, and it's like, which way do you want it to go?
Yeah. Okay, let's make that pivot finally.
Yeah.
To your Lakers. Like I said last time on the podcast, the Lakers.
I think I even said, Anthony Davis health. It's everything. Lakers health. It's everything.
The last time we spoke on this podcast, the Lakers were over Schitt's Creek back in December. We're now in the playoffs, and they are 3-1 with the Memphis Grizzlies right now as of recording, and that series really over.
Looking like the better team. I'd say Lakers in 5 there, unless they just unless they went out and just get way too wasted or something the night before.
Yeah.
But again, Anthony Davis and LeBron James have been there before. They're like two of the best leaders in basketball. Yeah. If the team that they have is healthy, they're arguably the 3 best in the West. Like right now, like the team that they were for the first half of the year was dog shit, and that obviously screws their seeding. But they're like, aren't there like 8 new guys, and then like Austin Reeves? That's right, Austin Reeves.
Yeah, he's playing fantastic basketball.
Yeah, he's incredible. Rory Hachimura is looking really good, and then
he's been looking great.
Anthony Davis still makes me clutch my pearls and
gasp. He's been a little up and down the series though.
Every time he leaves, I mean, yeah, and he had like 7 points or 8 points going into overtime last night. But you know what? When it mattered most, he played great defense. He altered shots. He did. He got blocked. He got the block at the end of the game. So
let me say, it was a struggle to stay awake last night because, these late games are fucking killing me. These late games at my age are killing me now.
Bro, can I just tell you, baseball season, I haven't bought the MLB package yet because
why?
I have been able, like when there's been a few nationally televised Dodger Mets games on, or when I can watch a West Coast game through streaming or something.
Yeah.
I have not made it past the second inning.
Wow.
I
Are you
fucking
officially? Have you officially adjusted to the East Coast time? Are you officially?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's not that. It's like no, I have my sleep schedule and everything. It's just that, I'm working hard and busy and going to the city whenever I can because it's amazing and I want to do things like see Aladdin and hang out in Prospect Park and plant trees and
Hell
eat
yeah, man!
amazing
You want
food
to
and
live? You
do
want to live life,
yeah,
buddy?
do New York shit. Yeah, like when I was in Midtown for a conference, I was like, huh, if I'm in Midtown, I have to go eat my favorite ramen place and crap
I'll
like
say
that. So,
I'll say this though, quick about the Lakers though. Like the West is wide open. I'm not sold on Phoenix. The Phoenix as being the favorite. I'm not.
I mean,
No depth.
Chris Paul led teams just always seem to lose in the Western Conference Finals.
So even with Kevin
Or they
Durant and
never make
Devin
it past
Booker,
that, Huh?
even with KD and Devin Booker, doesn't matter, huh?
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. They made it to the finals, but they lost in the finals. That's right.
Yeah,
They
it's
made it back to the
Milwaukee,
finals.
but still,
Yeah. They
um,
he doesn't if we're talking about the whole of his career, he doesn't he's only been to the finals once, right?
by the way, yeah, by
I
the way,
mean, KD obviously, but we've talked about this before. KD has a hard time, I think, being he's another one of those guys like Kawhi Leonard, where he can be the best player on the team, but he can't be the best leader on the team.
by
You
the way,
have to have.
I know if you're watching the game right now. Atlanta's about to steal this game from Boston. They're up by 1 with 9 seconds to go.
Oh no, kidding! I don't have
Yeah,
no because right now,
Boston ball now. Hang on, 9, 8, 7,
I don't
6.
have like my normal TV and streaming setup,
Yeah,
so I would normally be watching on my laptop.
yeah. Um, but it would not shock me. The Lakers in the finals would not shock me at all.
No, not at all. Again, if they stay healthy, they keep doing everything they're doing. They're one
It's a
of the
big
three
if though.
best teams
Obviously,
in
it's a
the
big
West.
if. Obviously, with the injuries.
Yeah,
Because
the series that's really gnarly is Kings Warriors. I haven't been able to watch the games, but I've been seeing the updates and highlights
oh,
and
it's
stuff. And I'm like,
amazing. It's
ooh,
amazing.
that series is nuts.
I mean, the Kings are good. They are
Yeah, and dude,
fantastic to watch.
sorry, kick it back to the Lakers for a second. Memphis just, I mean, Jaw's amazing. I love watching him play. He jumps out of the building and everything. But dude, Dylan Brooks, oh, drive me fucking crazy. But LeBron, I feel like has just been ever since those comments that just felt really dangerous. Something you don't do with a
Well,
team that
It's like
knows what the fuck they're doing.
it's like what I told you a couple days ago on IG. He's a Wish.com Draymond Green. He's a
That's
wannabe,
right.
dude. Like you may hate Draymond all you want, man, but Draymond.
Oh, I love Draymond.
No, I'm
He's
saying
amazing. He's a Hall
people in
of
general.
Famer.
4 titles, okay, was a key component to those 4 titles. He can talk his shit and back it up.
You can hate the way he got there and what you can hate the way that he whatever if you don't like it because you're not a fan of the team or whatever you think it's abrasive. I
Yeah,
don't care. I think he's fucking awesome. I think
me
he's
too.
hilarious. I think he's amazing on broadcast and he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
Just like any other key player on a team that's won 4 championships and
exactly.
basically controlled the
So
decade.
I've been saying about Dylan Brooks all year long. When he talks, you know what I see? He's trying to build a brand. It's all talk. He's all talk, no action. He's trying to build a brand. This is
Well, no,
that.
I think he's pretty tough, dude. He's
It's a good defender.
yeah. I
Good
mean,
defender.
nut shots aren't funny, but like other than that, like yeah, he's always played hard and gotten in people's heads and been effective at what makes he's really good at playing his role.
Right.
So modern NBA teams, it's all about having the right fit and the right player. The guys who are good. You can. It doesn't matter if your big guy is the one who is that role. It's just figure out whatever your role is with the talent you have, and if
Yeah.
as long as everybody does their role, it works. And he's one of the best at that,
Right.
or at least in a very long time, or of this generation.
I can see going. I haven't gone 6. Like it's going 6. I mean, I'd be impressed if they win Game 5 and close out in Memphis. I'd be impressed.
You think? Yeah, I mean, I hope they stay locked in and they're pissed off and everything. But you never know; those things roll high. But you just have a lot of guys who've been there before. I when we always like to talk about the silly fandom of it, but you think about a player like D'Angelo Russell coming back to LA, having played with Kobe in his last season and
Hmm.
everything, and then being back there and what it all means, and now he's on a good team playing with LeBron and AD. I gotta think that lights a fire in his ass, and which he never really needed. But like I just gotta think it drives players like that who are like that it pushes even more. what
Yeah.
they already do really well. And I think the outcomes with shit like that are going to be great in the playoffs. Because it's like that's kind of when the Lakers show up.
Yeah. Speaking of the playoffs, you've been following as much as you could, right? You been schedule.
Yeah,
What?
which is very little.
Yeah. What stood out to you so far? Anything that stood out to you?
I'm stoked for Knicks fans.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, it's really cool because like I haven't even really watched the games. I've probably watched more hockey actually because
Really?
one of the local bars that I frequent here is like got a bunch of hockey fans that are regulars there. It's a very everybody knows your name kind of bar,
Oh, cheers.
and yeah, literally and figuratively.
Ah,
But
interesting.
no, it's it's a bunch of hockey fans there. So you see a lot more. I'm seeing a lot more of the Stanley Cup Finals actually than I am
NBA playoffs.
than I am the NBA playoffs. But I make sure to watch the Lakers and then basically Sports Center if I can catch it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're grown up now, man. You know,
Dude,
things change, man.
yeah, and I just don't. Sleeping 4 hours a night doesn't seem healthy at approaching
Oh
40.
my God. Trey Young just beat Boston, I think.
Really? Did he just hit
Three.
like a dagger shot?
Pretty much. He hit a 3-point with 1 second to go.
Okay.
They were down by one. Dead eye. Is that Al Horford? Yeah. Wow. Anyway, this is in real time, of course. No, playoffs. I mean, the one thing also with the playoffs has been is disappointing is the injuries, man. It sucks.
Mhm.
The Kawhi thing. We got to talk about Kawhi, dude. Kawhi, the most frustrating star of my lifetime, and I say that because I
Yeah, he's
love the
got to be
guy.
up there. And you know what? Yeah, it seems like he's a pretty good person, and he keeps his head down and doesn't bother.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything that bothers anybody. And you hear stuff living in a place like San Diego, or people that went to like everything I've ever heard is that he's a wonderful human, and obviously one of the sickest basketball players of his generation. But like, man, the fucking guy can't stay healthy, and that's gotta
Injuries,
suck.
man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the same thing we talk about with AD and just how terrible and frustrating that must be. Especially for anybody, those kind of injuries just they gut you as a player and as a
Yeah.
team and everything. But especially when you're that good, and you're that close to winning titles and stuff, you just gotta be like motherfucker, like
Yeah. Yeah. That Clipper.
what I gotta do to get a break, like
I
Jesus.
imagine Steve Ballmer is waiting for that contract to end and just move on from him because I mean not because they don't want him to be well. It's just the
I
injuries.
mean,
It's just too much. It's just too much.
if if the front office is doing the smart thing, yeah, it's probably the way to go. I mean, what choice do you have? It's the way to go with AD. It's the way to go with several players in the league, And it's painful to say that because they're great, because they've contributed to greatness. You've seen them do lots of things that made you go, "Holy shit, that's amazing!"
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes it all the harder. But
Yeah.
and when
Yeah.
players can't stay healthy, front offices tend to make decisions and changes.
John Moran, of course, same thing. The injury. I mean,
Is
he's playing the series,
you
but I
know
mean,
it's like it's interesting because one of the topics I'm not gonna segue into it without you doing it, but just in general, I've a lot of my thoughts on basketball and basketball history and rankings and the way things go is being heavily influenced by some of the Hooper podcasts I've been listening to, like really like All the Smoke and
mhm.
Knucklehead when I can.
Yeah.
Um, because those give you, especially when you hear like former players talk about it, it totally changes and especially when they have people who are current players talking about all of that, it's like it's changed actually my perspective on a
Yeah.
bunch of different things. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. Um, I enjoy that podcast too. You know what I say? Also, I enjoy. Let's get you out of here. Have you seen Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce every week on Showtime?
I have
Yeah.
caught again Instagram segments, seen
Yeah.
really cool shit.
KG's
Um,
awesome.
there's oh KG is one of my favorite like TV. He's really great at stories. People don't realize how good he is at voices. Like when he tells one of my favorite ones ever is like the All the Smoke interview that he does
Yeah.
at, I think it was at the All-Star game in Chicago, and
Hmm.
there's a couple of them that he tells, and it's like he tells the story about Gary Payton and how he run the game, and he does like Gary Payton's whole voice and accent and mannerism. Like he's an amazing storyteller. He should have movies, documentaries, TV shows. I just want to listen to Kevin Garnett talk about whatever the fuck interests him enough to talk about in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Because whatever story he's telling is going to be
Yeah.
funny, poignant, make you go, holy shit, bro.
The deal with KG though, the way he talks,
great storyteller.
he talks the same way on that show they did in the court. Like he's very like matter of fact, very south about it. Very
Or like when he tells the story about how Jordan busted his ass the first
Yeah.
time, or he tells the story about Kobe. He'll tell a story about Kobe, and he'll do his voice really perfectly, or really really well. It's like he's just a great storyteller. He's like he's like the teacher who does, or like it's kind of like a Mrs. Doubtfire thing. They do the voices when they tell stories.
Yeah.
It's just more engaging. Like he's really fucking good at that.
He really is. He really
and
really
his
is.
stories are wild because
Yes.
he was one of the best. He played with the best, and he said some of the wildest shit on the planet you could imagine.
I love hearing stories about KG though, especially not just him talking, but about him. He is a shit talker of all shit talkers.
Yeah, the one of the other ones I like is Old Man and the Three when I can catch it. The
I love that show.
JJ Redick's podcast. Like one of my favorite episodes of theirs was the D Wade one, and of course KG's name comes up as in the thing. When you talk about people talking about him, I bumped into him and just once in LA was just like, oh shit, hey, that's KG. He had a shit ton of security around him. It was going into it was one of those like Apple Store like dispensaries in LA that get made fun of on sketch comedy shows and stuff. It was at the very beginning of those opening in LA when I lived there. And I went to one, and he was coming out, but literally like surrounded by 4 dudes that were almost as big as him, and I was just like, oh fuck, that's KG. I'm not going to get in his way. There's not really an opportunity to say hello, so I'm just going to keep it moving because I know he'll tell me to get the fuck out of his face if I don't.
Yeah, you mentioned JJ Redick though. JJ Redick, though, I'll tell you what, man. Stephen A. Smith's been smart. He has him on First Take now, twice a week. He is fantastic on there.
Oh, dude, he's awesome. I mean, he was a regular analyst. I forget. Don't ask me to quote which bench, which show he sat on, but he was on TV before, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
And then I felt like he kind of drifted away, and his podcast I found really really entertaining. Whenever I could catch it, it's usually, again, it's one of those things that I'll see some really funny segment on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'll go, fuck, that's awesome. I got to go watch that episode. And I'd say about 70-30, I actually make it through an episode if the reel really gets me. But that 30%, it's too late at night and I start falling asleep. That's definitely happened with the KG and Paul Pierce show a couple of times. I try to watch it like 10:30, 11.
Yeah, I catch on YouTube. I just got on YouTube because YouTube puts it out there too.
Yeah.
Put on 1.5 speed in this.
I did a Showtime app or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. I want to see more of the documentaries too. I just don't have the time to like actually sit down.
I know, bro. I'm behind on a lot of shows. Succession, the whole 9. I'm behind on a lot of shit.
Well, and it honestly being this close to New York as I am, like to the city and everything, it just feels like every chance I get that I might have days off or free time, if I'm sitting in my house or in my apartment, whatever, watching TV, I am not doing life right because there's so much going on that you just got to go out and do shit all the time.
Yeah, that's what my mind's at too, brother. Anyway, Mark, awesome pod as always. Hope we don't have to wait another 5-6 months for this shit.
Yeah, hopefully. Although we might, because we keep saying that, and our track record's not very good, at least the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been kind of rough, but we'll fix that. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Excellent job.